as much as, we are supported by publishers and we go through the process, after the book is published and put on the website, there's very little done to share the knowledge that is, years and years of knowledge for each author to put into each of their book, and also their heart, which is in each of their books. So, what we found was we're just this wonderful group of women who are writing and in our own worlds, feeling a bit isolated, a bit unsupported. And we just wanted to help one another. And we thought, the world and the yoga therapy community needs to know about these books.
Hi, everyone. It is so lovely to be here with you again. And as usual, before I give the particulars, we are going to do a centering. So, often when I do these centerings, I was kind of reflecting on this like a little bit. I realize I'm filling the space with words. And we had a centering recently with my colleagues, and it was so great to just create some space. It reminded me of how great it is to have some space. So that's how we're going to approach this today. So I want you to find a comfortable seat. And that is whatever comfortable means for you. So just get nice and comfy. You can choose to keep your eyes open, have them softly open or close them. And we're going to take that awareness into the breath. And we're just going to softly notice what's happening with our breath. And then we're going to softly notice what's happening with our bodies. How do you feel right now? How may that be connected to your breath? And now I'll invite you to make any adjustments you think you need right now for your body or for your breath to bring you into this space. If you need a little bit more energy, or just to be a little bit more calm, or your shoulders raising up to your ears and you need to relax them. You've had that moment to note what's happening with the body. So I'm going to leave that adjustment in your hands because you know best. Now I invite you to reopen your eyes if they were closed, or bring some more energy if they were open. Thank you so much for those moments. Sometimes there's just some nice beauty in the space. We should always remind ourselves of that. Sometimes there's just beauty in the space. So welcome again. Welcome. I am so glad you're joining us again today. My name is Marita Greenidge, and I'm here with my colleague, Kelly Freeman, and a longtime member of the International Association of Yoga Therapists, Rachel Krensman. And we're going to be here having a conversation about community, creativity, connection, and we're introducing a new project that Rachel has helped bring to life. And it's a free yoga therapy book club that has been created through the Women's Writers Collective in Yoga Therapy. So we'll talk more about how this collective began, why this book club matters, and how you can get involved. So, Rachel, thank you so much for being here. And for those persons who don't know you, can you tell us just a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Thank you so much for having me. It's really exciting. I've been part of IYT for a very long time, like you said. I actually was at the first conference in Los Angeles in 2000, I think it's 7 or 8, I'm not sure. When it was just getting started, and I love seeing all the growth and new membership and all the things that IYT is doing. So I'm really excited because this is my community, this is my family. So I'm really happy to be here. I'm a physical therapist. I've been a physical therapist for close to 30 years already. Graduated from McGill University in Montreal. So I'm originally Canadian, Montreal. And then I moved to San Diego, and that's when I got into yoga. I started to combine the yoga and the physical therapy. Grandfathered into the yoga therapy certification because there wasn't a yoga therapy certification when I thought, hey, this would make a great therapeutic modality. So I had to put together my own training, and I studied with many teachers, primarily Adil Palkivala is my primary teacher, and Judith Lassiter as well, and among many others all over the world. And lately, I actually got my certificate in Hakomi psychotherapy because I was interested in how to work with the emotions a little bit more and the body. So, yeah, a therapist all around. I've also written a few books, I guess I should say. I've written Yoga for a Happy Back, which is a great resource for yoga therapists and teachers. And I wrote a book on scoliosis, yoga therapy, and the art of letting go. And my latest book I wrote is a memoir. So it's a lot more personal. It's called As Is, a memoir on healing the past through yoga. Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for that background. Wow, the very first sitar. And we're actually returning to California next year,
Yes.
2026. So it's coming kind of another cycle. You had shared in an email that the Women's Writers Collective in Yoga Therapy was born out of a conversation at Sitar. Can you share that story of how that came about and what sparked the idea of a book club?
Absolutely. I was presenting actually at the Sitar in Arizona, and I decided to get a table with my colleague. We went in together on a table. My colleague is Shani Thornton Hardy, and we both wrote books this year. And we decided, okay, let's get a table at the conference to showcase our work and to tell people about what we're up to, because we both have new books out. So we started with the table. And when you have a table, it's really nice because people come to you to talk instead instead of you having to kind of walk around and mingle. And there's an opportunity for a lot of good conversation. And so, of course, the two of us had a lot of conversation. But what ended up happening was we kept meeting up with a lot of people that we generally only see at Sitar, because it's sort of this reunion of all the yoga therapists that we keep meeting every year. So we've become friendly with so many of the older members at Sitar. And we sat down, and Leela Stewart joined us, and she was also releasing a book. And then right next to us was another table. And I believe it was Aggie who's helping coach writers in yoga therapy, or just coach writers in general. And there were a number of people who sort of started to come about and sit with us at our table. And we started to engage in just, conversations about the highs and lows of writing a book, and the difficulties that come about from writing a book in yoga therapy specifically. And through these conversations, what we just kept saying to one another is, "You're amazing. You're amazing. You've done so many things." We each are talking to other people and complimenting each other on the work and the commitment, the dedication. And I don't think many people understand how long it takes to write a book and how much hard work goes into it. I think people know it's hard, but it's really hard. And it takes a lot of commitment, many years, lots of research. And we just felt that we were spending so much time marketing ourselves, but we felt very alone in that space. So through the conversation, we said, let's, continue to talk after the conference and stay in touch and see if we can do something to help each other, rather than each of us on our own going out and posting all our social media posts and doing all our conferences and, sending the message to our audience. What if we shared an audience? What if because I'm happy to share these women's books with my audience. I want them to read them, and I want them to know about this knowledge. So it's a gift to my audience, just like other people. And so instead of really doing it on our own, we thought, hey, is there a way we can do it together? And that's how it was born.
Yeah, expanding your reach and sharing your own similar audiences. Very cool. Exactly. Great idea.
I love that. And I love the whole idea of not going about this alone. I mean, for me, even when I think about doing a book, the whole process feels it feels daunting. I'm not saying that to dissuade anyone, but it just feels like something that's pretty hard. So I always really commend anyone who has done it. I always look at books and I think, wow, amazing that you've done this. And I note the interest around this, because quite recently we do media reviews in Yoga Therapy Today, our magazine, and I have placed just information about the media reviews on our social media, and that became one of our most liked posts for the year, which suggested to me that there's a lot of interest around this. So one of the core goals for the collective is really to bring greater visibility to women authors, leaders in yoga therapy. Why do you think that visibility is so important in our field right now?
Well, I think, we're on the edge of hopefully breaking into more mainstream healthcare. And that's what IOIT has been working on for a long time. And all of us have been working on. We have done a lot in the last 20 years or so. We're in a lot of hospitals. We have a number of trainings. But as writers and as, each of us specialize in our own area. And I feel, or we all felt, we found that we sort of had the same feeling, that as much as, we are supported by publishers and we go through the process, after the book is published and put on the website, there's very little done to share the knowledge that is, years and years of knowledge for each author to put into each of their book, and also their heart, which is in each of their books. So, what we found was we're just this wonderful group of women who are writing and in our own worlds, feeling a bit isolated, a bit unsupported. And we just wanted to help one another. And we thought, the world and the yoga therapy community needs to know about these books. These books have a lot of wisdom, and there's not enough information about them if they're on a table just displayed kind of out there. And we wanted to know, how can we do it in a way that would educate people, that would make them want to learn more about what's in the book. And also we wanted a personal touch. We wanted them to get to know the authors. And I think that so far, we've gotten together a group of about 35 authors who've joined so far. We're very open to people who've written a book. Yeah, we have 35 members who are all published authors, all women. And we're very proud of that. And we feel that the world needs to know more about what we've been doing and the good work that everyone's done, because everyone is really a pioneer in this field. It's still very new.
This is, I often think that there are levels to this in terms of I think about it from the communication space. So there's the written word, right? And then it's what we're doing here, the video. And that's why I like what you're doing with the book club, because having the author there, instead of writing just a bio, the author starts to come alive. So the author is coming alive off the page and can share about their material in this totally way, this way that helps to bring it to everyone, a relatable way. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, connecting with the author, helps you, it allows the reader to ask questions and really dive into the material in a different way than simply reading the book. Mm-hmm. Rachel, do you have any hopes or wishes for what this learning circle will do to help support the field of yoga therapy and its development over time?
Well, the first thing is I think it will build awareness, because you don't have to be a yoga therapist to join the book club. The idea is that
great.
So when I say we have 35 members, what I mean is 35 writers who are behind this. We have over 400 people who've signed up for the book club already. And
That's amazing.
So there's no limitation to who can come. Everyone can come, and it's free. So we're sort of opening it up to everyone. And that way, if someone's just interested in what is yoga therapy, they can hop on. We just started a YouTube channel where we're uploading our recordings, and I give all the information to you, so we'll post it. So we have a YouTube channel, Women Writers in Yoga Therapy. And so all of the recordings from the meetings will be available there. So that's a way of getting the word out. And I'm hoping that people who didn't know what yoga therapy is, or people who are sort of heard about it or want to know more, will also tune in, and that also yoga therapists can learn more from one another. So all in all, I think the main goal is to increase visibility, to help promote the fields of yoga therapy, to promote the voices of people who've been in this field for many years, who may not have had the opportunity to be in front of a large audience.
Yeah. So you kind of answered one of my, when I saw the information come over on the book club, I was like, oh, can anyone join? So you pretty much answered that question. What do you think that each of the different participants, so it could be and it could be anyone, even someone in the public, you don't have to be a yoga teacher or anybody who's just in, okay, that's pretty cool. So what do you think the different participants are going to get out of this, the wider community? So people who have signed up and they're I want to come, what do you think they're really going to get out of this?
So we just started, and we're working out the format, but we decided that people don't have to read the book necessarily. I know that a lot of book clubs, you get together, everyone reads the book, and then comes and discusses questions in a typical format. We decided that it's not obligatory. We don't want to exclude people who didn't have a chance. These books are quite long, quite detailed. There are a lot of them are textbooks on specific topics like cancer, arthritis, yoga for mental health, for children with special needs. So we have a whole range of books that are quite filled with information, and maybe not everyone is, has the time to necessarily buy these books and read through them before the meeting. But what we're hoping people will get from it is really a view into the process of how the book came about, why the author felt it was important to write this book. We do have some key practices that we share. So whether you're a seasoned yoga therapist, a yoga teacher, or somebody new, I think everyone will benefit from the practices from whatever level they show up at. They'll understand. And it gives them an opportunity for those who have read the book or are working with clients and patients to ask questions from these experts. They have a direct connection to the author themselves. And then through these discussions, we really let it flow. So we get to know, the authors and what they want to talk about and what they want to share. But we start to open up about what yoga therapy is and what it isn't. And we're educating the public about that. And those of us who are yoga therapists, the feedback that I've gotten from the yoga therapists are that they really feel they're lacking a more regular connection with community, to feel that they're part of something. Sitar is once a year. Most of us are working on our own in our own small clinics. And this gives us a way to get together and ask questions and be part of something a little bit bigger.
I love that. I know we said at the beginning of this that this is going to be a conversation where we're going to talk about community as well. So I love that you are doing this to create this space in the community. And again, you answered another one of my questions, which I think for many people I tried to do a book club before with my university, and it's an online, but I could not keep up with reading the books. So I'm glad that you said that, because it takes time, and maybe your life might not allow you at that point in time to get through all the material, but you don't want people to feel like, no, you shouldn't show up, because you never know what you might get from just being in that presence, and hearing from everyone. You're going to pick up information. So I love that you're taking away that barrier as well, so that people will have more of this incentive to actually come to the book club.
Yeah, It was a mixed kind of decision, because some people want to have deeper discussions, but we realized, in an hour and a half that we have online, we didn't want to restrict it to people who won't have time to read it. So we're giving them a chance to learn what they can. And for those who do read it, they have a chance to ask more questions and to go deeper. So everyone wins, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Rachel, I'm following along on our Instagram, and I see some questions coming in from viewers. So if you wouldn't mind answering a couple of the viewers' questions here. Can you share the name of the book club and also the titles of the books that you authored?
Sure. So the name of the book club is called the Yoga Therapy Book Club.
I love that, right?
There isn't one. So we're the Yoga Therapy Book Club. We decided that our collective would be mainly, because we were a group of women who were supporting each other, women's writers collective in yoga therapy. But the book club is just called the Yoga Therapy Book Club. I host it on my my platform. And so you can find it on my website, which is happybackyoga.com. There's a link to join the book club for free there. And I don't know how you post on these live chats, but maybe you can post some links afterwards so people can find it.
I just shared the link. So it's, if you can see it on the screen.
Right.
I'm not sure that everyone across every platform can see it, but the link should be there.
So if not, Happy Back Yoga is easy to remember. And so you can go to my website and the offering is right there pretty much at the top. So you can just click on and join for free. There's no obligation for that. So that's the name of the book club. The books that I authored are Yoga for a Happy Back, A Teacher's Guide to Spinal Health Through Yoga Therapy. And it's mostly focused on all conditions of the spine and yoga. And then the other book is a little more for the public, the general public. It's Scoliosis, Yoga Therapy, and the Art of Letting Go. And my third book, which is my newest and my most vulnerable project ever, and the hardest one, which took me about 10 years to write, is As Is, a memoir on healing the past through yoga. And it's really more of a personal story for me, about breaking out of old paradigms, old ways of being in the world, changing my life, moving to California, finding yoga, and different things I found along the way, healing from family trauma.
Did you feel that writing that memoir in itself was a therapeutic process?
Absolutely. And it's not always, what I'll share with the listeners, it's not easy and it's not fun all the time. There were days when I would write and bring up some stories, and then I had to sleep for the rest of the day, or I kind of put the book away for even a few months at a time, because it was just a lot to bring up. But at the same time, the whole process itself was healing. And the idea is a very yogic one, of the fact that we don't need to identify with our stories and what happened to us, that's not who we are. Our imperfections, our stories, our traumas, our addictions, you name it. That's not who we are. And that's what we come back to in yoga and yoga therapy. We're always coming back to that wholeness of who are we, and we're not our stories. And so by writing the book and sort of having it on my shelf now, in a way, I was able to separate from some of the pain in the story, and kind of leave it in another place where that's not me. That's what happened to me. That's what I went through, but that's not who I am.
Yeah. I have a couple more viewer questions here. One of the viewers is asking if members of the book club can nominate books for future reading and discussion.
Ooh, interesting. The books have to be about yoga therapy, so they can. But ideally, what we want is the author of the book to want to present the book. So if you have a book you're interested in, I would definitely say to email me through the website and let me know about the book that you're interested in, the author. Good chance they might already be in our group and we haven't hosted them yet. But if there's a really interesting book, yeah, we're happy to take suggestions, but we would contact the author and see if the author wants to be part of the club.
Thank you, Rachel. One last question here. Where can prospective book club members get a list of the books that you are planning, that you've covered already, or that you're planning to cover in the future?
So I will say we have a website. On my website, happybackyoga.com, when you click on the link to the Yoga Therapy Book Club, I've started posting all of our books that we're doing over the next couple of months. So we have November, December, January already slotted. So you can see in the curriculum, if you go to the curriculum page, it'll show each month and the books. But I've only finished doing it up until January because we're a relatively new project. And also there's some pictures with books that are coming up soon. But we only have it up until the end of January, although we have more authors and more books than months in the year. So we're going to keep going. We're going to have a lot more. But I love that question because it encourages me to maybe get a longer list of books, because we do know who's presenting for pretty much through the end of the year. And I think I will get that up there as soon as possible on the website. So just keep checking and I'll put up a list.
I think it's so inspiring to hear that, there's already such a wealth of material for this group to explore, and, only more going forward as people continue to write and yoga therapy continues to expand in its reach. Rachel, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your vision and the heart behind this new community offering. It's really inspiring to see a space that was created with such intention and generosity and depth. And to everyone who's watching, whether here with us live or watching the recording, The Women's Writers Collective in Yoga Therapy Book Club is completely free. It is open to anyone who wants to learn, connect, and explore the evolving world of yoga therapy. If you feel called to join, the book club would love to have you. And I know my colleague Marita had shared the links, and you can join on Rachel's website as well, happybackyoga.com. I thank you for spending this time with us today. If you're not already connected to the IAYT community, we invite you to become a member at iayt.org. You can also subscribe to our e-newsletter to stay in touch with us. And we hope you'll consider joining us at our next in-person conference in June, which is Sitar, which we mentioned at the beginning of this conversation with Rachel. Sitar will be in Costa Mesa, California. We also welcome all IAYT members to join us for the final part in our Continuing Education Toolkit series, Marketing Your APD course, where Marita will be sharing all her best marketing tips.
Ooh, that sounds really good.
Yeah, that'll be a good one. Marita is really great. She's really engaging, and she just has so much really wonderful information to share. So that session will be held on December 10th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And you can check your email inbox for the link to register or visit the community calendar at iayt.org. If you're interested in the conference, you can find information at iayt.org/PAGE/Sitar 2026. That's SYTAR 2026. Take good care, everyone. Thank you again for being here in this space and conversation with us. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you. Bye-bye.